Good morning and welcome to Join the Dots. I hope, and in some respects I pray, that in the first week I was able to give you the foundations of the present financial system: China, US, EU, UK, Australia, Canada, etc. Okay? Because if you don't work from the foundations, you won't get to the truth. I've given you the economic truth regarding the foundations of what now the Western world and the Eastern world, BRICS, are based upon, what they're built upon. And it's a pile of sand. Okay? Now, I gave you the foundations, and I think one of the most foundational elements of the world today is the truth, and whether we get the truth or not. And I promised you today we'd talk about corporate fascism. This is rife throughout the world. It is rife. The whole world is riddled with corporate fascism. And this has been developing over 30, 40, 50 years. It's not new, it's incremental creep. It's been added to day, by week, by month, by year, in country after country after country after country. And you don't see it, you don't feel it, unless you're prepared to stand back and think, what was the world like? For me, what was the world like when I was 20? 1978, 1980. What was the world like then? And what is the world like now, 2025? Then you can see the difference. But if you live through it, day by day, you can't, because it's incremental creep. It happens very slowly, and you're not aware of it happening until it decides to impact you massively in your life. And no better could we see that than COVID, sadly. Okay? Because when COVID came, all I wanted was the truth. The first truth I wanted was, what was the origin? What was the origin? Do you know that today, 5 years later, China has not delivered to the WHO the original virus, what do you call it? Information. There is a word for it, but I can't think of it. The information around that virus, the original code, the original sequencing, they still have not delivered it 5 years later. How many million dead? And do you hear about that on the BBC? Do you hear about it in the news? Do you hear a daily report on why China has not delivered it? No, because no one wants to know, really. Otherwise, they would force it, wouldn't they? If there was an investigative journalist out there who really wanted to get to that truth, he'd get there. There's not one. The whole world's population has been dumbed down considerably in their critical thinking. They accept far too much because it's more comfortable to accept what you're told than it is to have to think whether you're being told the truth. There's never going to be a period that exceeds and excels in showing you corporate fascism than COVID. We've seen it in every aspect of COVID. The pharma companies, the health authorities, the doctors, all of them are complicit, all of them, except those who stood out and said, hold on, can we have the truth, please? Can we just have the truth? And I focused in my early days on 5 doctors: Dr. Pierre Kory, Dr. Ryan Cole, Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. Robert Malone, and there's a name that I'll come back to in a second, and Professor Geert van der Bossche. And I thought, these 5 are telling the truth. Why? Because the corporate fascism, the financial fascism that was threatening them, they ignored. They said, no, the truth is more important than my money, than my internship at this particular university, than my job even. Some of these people lost their professions, they lost their jobs, they lost their credibility, they lost their career because they told the truth. Corporate fascism has got control of so much in our society. And we need now to rid it. We need to get rid of the fascism that is driving everything. Fascism, a lot of people, when I first started using this word, and actually I got it from Dr. Robert Malone. I remember reading his Substack, probably in 2020. And I thought, corporate fascism, yeah, I can see that. If I use some critical thinking, I can see that every decision made by governments is impacted by corporates and vice versa. And no more could you see that than LinkedIn and Facebook through the COVID years, because they censored every voice that happened to mention science or anti-vaccine. It wasn't a vaccine, for goodness sake. The very essence, I talk about foundations a lot, the very essence of a vaccine, it has two functions. It inoculates, it prevents spread. End of, no more, that's it, two functions. What did these do? They didn't prevent you getting it again, i.e. inoculated you, and they didn't prevent you spreading it. So they weren't a vaccine. So base one, it wasn't a vaccine because it didn't do what a vaccine does. The definition of a vaccine was later changed to be it relieves symptoms. No, that's an aspirin, okay? That's an aspirin. There are lots of things to relieve symptoms. A vaccine does not relieve symptoms. It inoculates, it prevents spread, and these did neither. Neither. So you have to think, why? What was going on? Then you have to think of the monetary and authoritarian influences that wanted everyone to take a shot that wasn't a vaccine, because they knew it didn't prevent spread. I remember a namesake of mine, Janine Small from Pfizer, presenting to the European Commission. And she actually said, we never tested for transmission. Pfizer never tested for transmission. And yet the media, corporate fascism, the media, the governments, the health authorities, everyone screamed, don't let you kill grandma. I.e., you need to take this to prevent transmission. Yet it didn't do it. And Pfizer said in front of the EU in 21, we never tested. Look it up, Janine Small, Pfizer, EU. We never tested for transmission. So the foundations were wrong. And we're going to talk about this all week, not only in a medical sense and not only in the COVID era, because I know that is incredibly emotional for people. But we have to get to the base, we have to get to the foundation of how our system now runs. And it runs on corporate fascism. Fascism for me, and I looked this up recently, the two core elements of fascism are no other opinion allowed, total control. What did we see through COVID? We saw no other opinion allowed, total control, fascism. Okay, fascism, that's medical fascism. And it's my least watched video. So I know it's emotional and I know people don't want to hear it. But I'm here to tell you the truth. Because only when you've got the truth can you understand what is happening in this world where nothing is being reported to you truthfully. It's all got a bias. It's all got a fascist influence that says no other opinion is allowed on this issue. We want total control. No more did you see that from, ironically, the Democrats in America during Joe Biden's reign. You never saw the total control and no other opinion. Look at Facebook, look at LinkedIn, look at fact checkers on the BBC. Everything was controlled. You were not allowed to think. You were not allowed to get the truth. Yet it was there. Those 5 brave doctors I mentioned, they knew it, they said it. And then they were followed up by people who were affected by the vaccine in an injurious way. Dr. Asim Malhotra, his father died after the vaccine. He had previously recommended the vaccine on GBTV. Then, when his father died, he thought, I better look into this. And he went right through every document Pfizer had released. And he knew then that it was all wrong. So I'll leave it here today. And I want you, please, understand I'm only after the truth. If you don't work from the truth, you cannot join the dots to what is happening in this world today. Financially, health-wise, so many ways, government-wise, it doesn't matter. If you haven't got the truth, everything else is an illusion. Everything has become the victim of corporate fascism, whether it's the legacy media. And I come back to that because I really want you to understand that what I'm bringing you on this site is the truth from people who are prepared to tell the truth, and it's not through the legacy media. It cannot be. It is too controlled. Okay, it is too part of the system. We need now to use YouTube, Substack, X and other platforms because it's the only way we will get the truth. Okay, so please watch throughout this week. I'll try and find some nicer subjects to talk about corporate fascism, but I think this is the most obvious, blatant, in-your-face example of how you are not getting the truth because of a fascist system that wants total control with no other opinion allowed. Thank you.